My name is Harvey. I'm the Managing Director of Corporate Sustainability for NASDAQ OMX. In that role, I have two main functions. One is managing the reporting, transparency, and data management side for us as a public company. What we report, how we report it, the channels and the NGOs and the partnerships that we participate with in terms of getting our own performance and ESG rating out to issuers and investors. But then the other side of the coin is managing education and outreach for the issuer community. 3,000 plus public companies list on our various markets, some of whom do a terrific job in terms of managing ESG, and some of them need our assistance. So we participate by giving them education, white papers, we provide webinars, we host events, we facilitate one-on-one conversations between CEOs to try and make them improve their performance. Well, I mean, right now we're in an era of big data where it's more is not necessarily better. We have a lot of data flood in the market. A lot of metrics are being reported. If you look at what Bloomberg is harvesting from wherever they can find data, annual reports, proxy statements, prospectuses, etc. They're sort of plugging all this data into the terminal. It's the single best aggregate database we have of ESG metrics, but it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, and the quality varies widely. So to me, the problem is not enough data. I think there's a lot of data out there in the world, but the lack of a unifying framework, the lack of a universal rating system among the data, and the lack of a uniform system of reporting channels. You know, we have a lot of different competing reporting channels: SASB, GRI, UN Global Compact, ERIS, we talked about in the meeting today. So will one standard emerge triumphant? Will they all merge into something that is uniform across industries and across businesses? Or are we always going to be dealing with niche data opportunities within different companies? Yeah, we talked about a number of these things in the meeting that we just hosted, which was concerning the lack of understanding and lack of clarity around what impact investing means, the tolerance for investors to take a high impact, low return kind of investment opportunity. But my chief frustration at NASDAQ and working with the clients and the companies that we work with is largely just misinformation about the space itself. You know, there is a prevailing stereotype that this data is not important, or it's important to a fringe group only. There's a prevailing stereotype that, you know, analysts are not really interested in this data because it very rarely comes up on an analyst call. There's a prevailing stereotype that it costs a lot of money, or it takes a lot of time, or it costs a lot of manpower to provide metrics like this. And there's also probably the most damaging stereotype, which is this just exposes my company to more risk. Why would I put more information out there? I'm already required to disclose a lot via the SEC and other rules. Why would I put more information into the space that's potentially legally actionable? So we try to fight all those stereotypes with education. We try to tell them about the bottom line impact. There are a number of companies listed on NASDAQ, large cap companies, small cap companies, who have managed this aspect of their operation well. They have obviously seen the light. They have found a way to make the disclosure of information strategically integral to what they do. And they found bottom line value in it too. They're making money. They're making money not despite doing this, but they're making money because they do this. And I think that's, you know, getting companies to understand that is going to be the real trick. It's funny because Peter Roselli and I were having a bit of a side conversation, and we were going back and forth about what I was just talking about. There were a lot of sell-side analysts in the room, and asking them, do they think that the data is to the point where they can raise it on an analyst call? Do they think that the data is sufficiently provocative so that they would challenge a CEO about their ESG performance, or say tie an ESG CEO's performance to how the company performs in the ESG space? And nobody really picked up on that invitation, you know, to be provocative. So the surprise was, I still think there's a bit of a timidity in terms of challenging companies on their performance and really taking them to task when they're not doing things well. Sometimes companies put out a sustainability report, or they have good press about something that's going well with their operation, and they're given a pass on a lot of other things. And I think that what constantly surprises me is, you know, we don't have the same kind of fire and passion for challenging leaders as we do when it comes to human rights, when it comes to labor violations, when it comes to something egregious that happens. So I think it's, you know, that scrutiny is important to apply on a consistent basis and across all companies.